So basically, some of my gender, not feminine, okay, because I can't call it gender confusion because I never really was like, ooh, I want to be a boy. I just struggled with feeling entirely girly, okay? So some of that started for me at a very, very early age. And then I grew up in a small town. So while over half the world has been waiting on me to come out of the closet and say, ooh, I'm, gay as a $3 bill or whatever, what I should have came out of the closet as is devoutly Bible believer, sky daddy loving Christian, okay? Been that way for a long, long time, for as long as I can remember. I want to give props to my parents, okay? My parents made some mistakes, and you'll hear me talk about that, and they know how I feel. I have a pretty open relationship with them. I've got some really good parents. They're not perfect. They make mistakes. But the one thing they really did right is teaching me, about the gospel, about Jesus and things like that. And then, of course, whenever I became older and I claimed this faith as my own. So it became owned faith. So not all of this is coming from my parents. I actually owned this faith later. But I don't really just want to say the town I grew up in. And here's the deal. We're all guilty. We're all guilty of stereotyping people. We see somebody masculine. We see somebody feminine. Oh, they're gay, or, they're this or they're that. So we all do it. But what I know concretely about myself is that my whole life I have been labeled as 150% gay, and that just hasn't been true for me. And trust me, I have questioned myself on every side concerning this on purpose, because I have a history of having relationships with women. But with men as well. So, and yes, I know I don't owe anybody this explanation. I don't owe anybody any explanation about myself, about my history, what I've chosen to do, what I choose to do now, which now I'm not doing any of this, okay? If I move forward in any kind of situation, it will be with a man, and it will be in what I call proper God-ordained relationship, okay? We can talk more about that. Okay. And I understand some of you don't have that same opinion, and that's okay. This is about me giving my testimony as God asked me to give it. So that's what this is about. This is about me. And so a lot of people have made many, many, many assumptions about me throughout my life, and I haven't spoken on any of it. I've kept quiet and just done my thing and didn't worry about it. And so even though I was traumatized when God first asked me to talk about this, I was very traumatized for a few years now. I've just been like, no, God, I don't want to talk about this. Like, I don't want to go here. People are going to hate this. And I understand there are a lot of people who will hate this, but this is not for them. This is for people who have experienced some of these things. These are for people who love people who have experienced some of these traumatizing things, where all the church can give you is, you're wrong, when you already knew that before you got there. This is about giving people hope outside of just you're wrong and God isn't going to bless this. Those people already knew that most of the time, okay? So anyways, you'll hear I'm passionate about a lot of these things. You'll hear that come through. Okay, I'm unapologetic about it. Look, I tell people all the time, I'm so thankful that I'm a part of. We live in a fallen world. Men and women are fallen. God has made that abundantly clear in His Word. And I understand some of y'all watching this are not going to be Bible believers, and that's okay too. But just know that this channel is created by a Bible believing person, i.e., me. And so it's going to be, the things that are going to be talked about are going to be from a biblical perspective. Okay. I say too much too. I caught myself doing that a long time ago. So that's something that I'm hoping that I will get better at, but we'll see. So basically, I've been labeled my whole life, but I really didn't start having any kind of sexual relationships with women until my mid-20s. And there are men out there who love me, and I've loved too, but again, that part never gets believed because they can't see past my identity. So we're also going to do a whole lot of conversations and exploring identity and sexuality apart and together, how one influences the other, how sometimes we can look at them separately. It's very complex when we start looking at these things. We're going to look at them, okay? So my channel is going to have a whole bunch of discussions about a lifetime of things I've never got to talk about, okay? And also things that I haven't always understood. So some of the gender symptoms that I had, I didn't really know the full extent of those until later in life. Okay, so I always thought tomboy, and like I said, when I look at the criteria for gender dysphoria, I meet some of it, but I don't think I'll meet enough to warrant a diagnosis. Of course, am I open to, can that be debatable? Would I be open to get with a therapist and talk more about? Of course. I'm not trying to run from any of this, you guys, and that's another reason for this channel is people make so many, specifically myself, this is going to be about me. People have made so many horrific assumptions about me throughout my whole life, and I've never spoken on any of these things. So I'm actually glad, even though I've been traumatized by God asking me to do this, I'm also glad that I get the opportunity to speak on some of these things, and also to speak on some of these things in a non-judgmental, hopefully a non-judgmental way, which I will tell you, when we get into biblical truth comes out judgmental no matter how you say it. So I feel like even though I'm going to be non-judgmental, people are going to accuse me of being judgmental just because biblical truth is offensive. It's offensive to all of us, and it's really offensive to all of us if we're living in sin. So that's just a reality I'm prepared to deal with right now. I'm still looking forward to doing it. So I'm going to do a deep dive into all these things. Like, I'm actually just going to go there. What does the Bible say about these things? How do I feel about them? And anyways, I'm looking forward to it. So this is part 2 of my testimony. I've been accused of being gay my whole life, just because of gender issues, but I never actually explored my bisexuality. I never actually history. I want to make this clear. History of my bisexuality. I do not have relationships with women anymore, and I have zero intentions of ever having one again. Okay. I have deep friendships with women. Okay. No, not friendships where I'm in love with the woman. Nothing like that. I'm letting you know there are many, many things about that lifestyle that did not work for me. I was able to see the wrong in it. And at the same time, though, there were things that really did work for me, which is why it became so tempting to just fully engage, which is exactly what I did. And that's when, anyways, I don't know. There's a whole story in there. And I'm just going to keep it real and tell you the truth about who I am, how I am, where I am, right here, right now, in hopes to get a few people saved. Okay, I'm gonna start telling the truth, and maybe somebody will get saved. Okay, all right, that's part 2, and there will be more clips to come. Thank you all for listening. I really appreciate it. Have a blessed day.